Hi, my name's Kelly. I am a forensic psychologist and a CBT therapist. And as I mentioned in my other video, I wanted to speak more about the power threat meaning frameworks. This was by Johnstone and Boyle in 2018. So it is a perspective and it is different from diagnostic categories. And it is about understanding why people maybe experience distress, confusion, despair, fear, or maybe troubled or troubling behaviour. And as I mentioned, it's an alternative to maybe some of the more traditional models based on psychiatric diagnosis. And the power threat meaning framework, which actually co-produced with experts by experience. And it's really important that this applies to everyone. It's not just about people who've been in contact maybe with mental health services or criminal justice services, but this can apply to everyone. That's, I think, the framework, when it looks at a great deal of evidence, and it looks at the various kinds of power in people's life, but it looks at the kind of threat and the misuses of power and how that can impact upon us, and the way as humans that we've learned to respond to threat. So in traditional mental health practice, the threat responses are sometimes called symptoms. So as I spoke in the last video, thinking about personality difficulties, that they could be called traits. But the framework looks at how we make sense of things. So instead of, as I said, with those questions, it's not about what's wrong with you, it's about what's happened to you and how we can make sense of difficult experiences and how we can look at the wider society and how the maybe reactions or interactions with society can sometimes actually increase our feelings of isolation, our feelings of shame and guilt. But when we look at the framework, that there are a number of, the four main questions really that can help us to understand. And these can apply to groups of people, to families of people, dyads, individuals. So the four questions based on the power threat meaning. So as I mentioned, the first question is, what has happened to you? So how is power operating in your life? And the second question is, well, how did that affect you? And this is looking at what kind of threats does this pose? So what has been kind of the outcome of what you've experienced? And then the meaning. So how did you make sense of it all? So what is the meaning of those situations and experiences to you? And then what did you do to survive? So what kind of threat responses are you using? And these questions can be really helpful, and they are, I suppose, the pillars really of the power threat meaning framework. And you may also, if you want to understand maybe your own narrative or other people's, that you could ask two more questions. So what are your strengths? And what is your story? So how does this all fit together? And as I said, I just really like this framework, and I think it can be really helpful just as an alternative to try and understand ourselves or the people that we work with. And as always, please, any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.